right, good morning. As always, thank you all for joining me out there into YouTube land. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Please like and share the content on this channel. I want to keep making these videos because I know there is someone out there who is just like me or was like me who wants to seek financial as well as location independence. So today I want to share something. I want to talk a little bit about the cost of living here in Cancun, Mexico. And one of the reasons why I want to bring this up is simply because a lot of people don't think this is achievable or affordable. And I want to list down what I know to be some of the expenses here in Cancun. Some of these are my expenses, some of these are not my expenses, but it is, of course, boots on the ground and is completely accurate at this present moment. Another reason why I want to talk about this is simply because every weekend I see people come here, they party, they drop thousands of dollars for a great weekend. And if you got it, then great for you. I say more power to you. However, I often think that we are all on the same beach at the same time. Even if you're staying in a hotel, we are at the same beach. But the difference is on Monday, you're probably back in wherever you're from, or you are, working at your job or whatever. And again, no shade or nothing like that against people who do that, but because you may have a great life wherever you're from, but I know there are some people out there where that really eats at them. I know it did for me when I would go travel abroad in Southeast Asia. I would stay for long periods of time, and it didn't happen that way. My initial trips that I took back in the day were really just vacations. I remember this one trip I took in the Bahamas. I left on I believe it was a Thursday night, and I arrived in Miami that night, spent time with my friend, and then we went to the Bahamas on Friday afternoon. We had a great time. We started early on Saturday, but that Sunday we had to leave because I had to be back at work on Monday. And I just remember back then how disappointing that felt to me at that time. And I always wanted to figure out, how could I make this my reality every day? How could I get myself closer to the beach or closer to in that living situation? And even at my job, coworkers and I, we joke about this, but I don't think they believe that this is truly possible. One of my bosses, she always talks about how she's going to buy property in the Bahamas and things like that. And I don't know what the property prices are at the current moment, but what I do know is it's a mindset thing. And if you have a remote job, there's nothing stopping you from working abroad, nothing at all. So it's just a matter of what kind of adjustments are you willing to make. Now, one of the criticisms I always get is, well, Tawan, you're speaking from a person that's single. And yes, I am. I don't have any children. I don't have a wife or girlfriend. So my situation is going to be a little bit different than a lot of people. This is very true. But here's the thing. There's a lot of people out there that have been single, don't have children, and they're living where they're living and they're not doing anything about it. They're just complaining. Oh my God, I hate this traffic. Oh my God, I hate these high gas prices. Oh my God, I hate the fact that food is increasing. Hey, you're free to complain, but the truth is, no one really cares, to be quite honest with you. And I know that sounds maybe mean or cruel or whatever, but that's just the truth. What I want people to do when they're getting this information from me is to not only know that this is possible, but I want you to take action. Because if I give this information to you all day long, it's just a fantasy if you don't start taking moves towards it. During the pandemic, I was forced to live at my grandma's house for a lot longer than what I wanted to. And the reason why I was living there was simply because my life isn't really set up to live in America. For 2 to 3 years, I was going back and forth to Southeast Asia. I had an apartment there. I had a whole life over there. And I would only come home a few times a month to take care of business, make money and things like that. And that's a lifestyle for a lot of people. I mean, look at the people that go to resorts. And I was in Alaska one time. There are people that literally had a lifestyle where they went to Alaska during their tourist season. They made their money and then they went somewhere else and did the same thing. So this is a mind shift for many people. Most people have the idea just to stay in one place, make their money, and then go on vacation. I think nothing really prepares you for this thought process until you start to travel. And one of the things that I found out on the trip to Cambodia was that people in Europe get an immense amount of time off to travel and do things. Most of the people I met that were foreign were from Europe. And so they would tell me how they were able to, take time off and go away for months and months at a time. And it just got me thinking that why can't that be me? And so what I'm saying to you is, why can't this be you? This is very achievable. And I'm going to break it down right now, the cost of living here in Cancun. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with rent. Depending upon where you want to stay in the city, depending upon what side of the city you want to stay on, your rent is going to vary. I have been places here where your rent could be as low as $100 a month. Now, personally, I would not be comfortable staying in these places, but people do it all the time. And no, I didn't see a lot of foreigners there, so that's probably not a place that I would be 100% comfortable with staying, because I think it's also important to be around people where you maybe share other things in common. And that's not to say that if you're around the locals, they're going to treat you terribly or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. Please don't misconstrue what I'm trying to say here. However, I think there's a comfort in knowing that you have a community of people who may share your nationality with you and things like that. So I probably wouldn't live in a place like that. For me, I would live in a place that may be somewhere between $300 or $400 a month, because there's a higher chance that you're going to be in a much safer area. If you live in a place that, $100 a month, who knows what you're going to get. So I would say, conservatively speaking, you can live here in Cancun from, let's say, $400 a month to $600 or $700 for rent. And what you want to do is match that against different places that you can actually go in America and see how much it actually would cost you. So that's rent. When you start talking about utility and water is going to be no more than $10 a month. And that's, again, being pretty conservative. When you start talking about utilities, that's going to be anywhere, depends on how much you run your air conditioner, because it does get very hot here, obviously, and it cools down a little bit at night, but not to a point where you would need any heating or anything like that. But I would say that's going to be anywhere from $50 to maybe $80 a month. And of course, these prices are going to increase because everywhere things are going up. All right, so let's assume that you got $600 for rent, and you have about let me see here, $600 for utilities. Okay, not $600 for share. I'm sorry, about $80 for utilities. Okay, so that's about $680 right there. I do not own a car here because you do not need to have a car here unless you're going further out. Everywhere you want to go, you can take a bus. They have a very good public transportation system here. I mean, it is excellent. And it's only about, give or take, about 60 cents per ride. and I think that's pretty good. And it can take you everywhere you need to go here in the city. And then there's this thing called walking. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. So you can always, walk wherever you go, and that's what I do most of the time because I don't generally go very far. When I go to the beach, I have to take the bus there because that's a little bit further out. So it's like a 10 to 15 minute ride to the beach. But I just don't. I walk a lot of places. Okay, next thing, grooming. Like, obviously I gotta keep my hair cut. I do that maybe 2 to 3 times a month, and the place that I go is far on the other side of town. So I'm spending, I would say, $20 to $25 a month on a haircut. Now, for those of my brothers out there, uh, we know we can spend $25 to $30 for one haircut. I was in Atlanta, Georgia one time, and straight up, the haircut was $31, and the barber expected a tip. So it ended up being about $35 for one haircut. So of course I was like, nah, I won't be doing this anymore. That's just crazy to me. But of course it's a major city, so you expect to pay higher prices. It wasn't necessarily a better haircut. It just was the fact of the location that you was in. Okay. Other thing here I would say would be food, and that's really important for everyone because we all got to eat. I spend about anywhere from $40 to $60 a week for food. Now, it could be a little bit less than that because the truth of the matter is I don't purchase meat. I don't purchase chicken. I'm more or less a vegetarian. I might eat fish every now and then, but for the most part, that's my diet. So I'm not spending really more than $50 on average a week for food. And so far, I have not seen the prices really go up at all here in Cancun. If you want to eat at a restaurant, depends on where you want to eat. If you're eating places where the locals go, you're spending anywhere, I would say, from $3 or $4 per meal. And if you go to more expensive places, you're probably going to spend about $8 to $15 for a meal. So that's the other cost if you don't want to eat out all the time. And then the last thing I would say would be like, entertainment. Entertainment, depending upon what you want to do, can cost you, let's just say, I don't know, $50 to $100 a month. And that's pretty much the cost to live here in Cancun. So as you can see, it's very achievable here. It just depends on where you want to stay. And then, of course, if you move to Puerto Morelos or you go to Playa del Carmen, that cost is going to have to be adjusted a little bit too because those are areas where you have, I think, more expats. In Cancun, the city is divided into two places. You have the Hotel Zona and you have Central. I live in Central where most of the people live, and then the Hotel Zona is where most of the tourists go for, for the weekend or for the week or whatever. And so again, this is possible. You just have to wrap your mind around it and realize that it can happen. And lots of us who are digital nomads, expats, this is how we've been able to do it, over the years. So don't think that a lot of us got a lot of money, because there are people here who are on retirement pensions, and their retirement pension goes a lot further than it does in the United States. And so you have to consider what's possible. And let's say that you are someone, you're in a relationship, you have your spouse, you two can make this work, especially if you both are doing digital marketing jobs. And let's assume that both of you got digital marketing jobs that were remote. Okay, so you're making 60 and he or she is making 60. Well, that's $120,000. Think about that for a second. That's $120,000. And that's not including the things that you do on the side. And you're both living in a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom apartment, and you keep your lifestyle somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500. I mean, think about how much money you can save and invest during that time period. And then from there, you can move on to somewhere else that you might want to live. So again, this is very possible, people. So please understand that this is not out of your reach. It just takes the right plan. And I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. I hope this video was informative. Please do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I'll be putting out more really good content in weeks to come. And yeah, thanks again for stopping by. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.